Okay, imagine this. You walk into a hospital, maybe a clinic, everything looks, spotless. You see the technology, the staff working hard. It's all about healing, right?
Right.
But have you ever really stopped to think about what happens after? With the used bandages, the needles, maybe even old medicines. It's this whole hidden process.
Absolutely hidden, but it's fundamental.
That's what we're diving into today, healthcare waste management. We're looking specifically at Bahrain, using a strategic guide from Smart Management Consultancy as our roadmap.
A very useful guide.
Our mission here is simple, to really unpack why managing this waste isn't just, a cleanup job. It's actually a serious legal thing. It affects the environment and, critically, patient safety. We want to give you a shortcut, basically, to understanding why this matters so much.
It really does. And it's often underestimated. People might think it's just about taking out the trash, but it's so much more complex than that.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Why is it such a big deal? If things go wrong, what are we actually looking at? What are the risks?
Well, the risks are pretty significant, and they kind of ripple outwards. First, there's the immediate danger to the staff.
Right, the healthcare workers themselves.
Exactly. Occupational exposure. We're talking sharps, injuries, exposure to pathogens, maybe chemical burn. This happens more than you'd think. Then you've got the environmental impact. Improperly treated waste can, pollute soil, water. It affects the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so staff safety, environment, what else?
For the hospitals or clinics themselves, big trouble. Legal penalties, issues with accreditation. We're talking hefty fines, maybe even being forced to close temporarily. And the damage to the reputation, huge.
No.
And maybe the scariest part is the risk to public health. If infectious waste isn't handled right, diseases like HIV, hepatitis B or C, they could potentially spread into the community.
So it's all connected, like a domino effect if one piece fails.
Precisely. Incorrect segregation, bad storage, wrong treatment. Any mistake can cascade through the system.
Which really highlights the need for strong rules. So how does Bahrain handle this? What's the regulatory framework like? Is it one big law or...
It's more like a multi-layered system.
Yeah.
Really comprehensive, actually. There are three main pillars holding it up.
Okay.
First, you have the NHRA, that's the National Health Regulatory Authority. Their accreditation standards, the latest version from 2023, have a specific standard, 12.3, all about environmental health and waste management.
And what does that standard demand?
It mandates things like having a clear written waste management plan. It requires proper staff training, regular audits, and ongoing monitoring to make sure everyone's complying. It's not optional. It's essential for being licensed.
So that's the internal facility side.
Yeah.
What about once the waste leaves the building?
Good question. That's where the other two pillars come in. The Supreme Council for Environment, the SCE, sets guidelines for transporting, treating, and disposing of hazardous and medical waste. They control what happens outside the hospital walls. And then you have Ministry of Health circulars and municipal laws. These basically say you must use licensed contractors for waste disposal. You can't just hire anyone. And they ensure the waste goes only to approved treatment facilities.
So it really covers the entire chain, from creation to destruction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From generation to final disposal, every step is regulated to ensure accountability. It's designed to be watertight.
And that accountability, that structure, dictates how hospitals actually, manage things day to day, which leads us to the waste itself. You mentioned it's not all the same. What are the different types we're talking about here?
Yeah, that's crucial. You can't manage it if you don't know what it is. NHRA and WHO generally classify it into 6 main types.
Those types, okay.
First is infectious waste. Think anything contaminated with blood, body fluid, surgical waste, lab cultures. The risk is infection, obviously,
Yeah.
but also cross-contamination. One wrong item in a general waste bin.
Contaminates the whole bag.
Exactly. Increases risk, increases cost. Then you have sharps waste. Needles, scalpels, blades. The danger is injury and potential infection from that injury. Key challenge. Making sure they're disposed of immediately, right there, and the bins aren't overfilled.
Okay, infectious and sharps. What else? Chemicals must be in there somewhere.
Definitely. Third is pharmaceutical waste, expired drugs, leftover medications, contaminated vials. And a subcategory here is cytotoxic waste, like chemotherapy drugs, which are particularly hazardous.
Needs extra care.
Absolutely. Fourth is chemical waste, things like disinfectants, cleaning solvents, lab chemicals. These can be corrosive or toxic, need special handling.
Got it. 2 more.
Fifth is general waste. Your standard office paper, kitchen scraps, packaging, no specific hazard, but, and this is critical, it must be kept separate from everything else. Rigorous separation is key.
Prevents that contamination issue again.
Precisely. And finally, sixth, anatomical waste. Human tissues, organs, body parts. This has infection risks, but also major ethical and cultural sensitivities around disposal.
Wow, okay. That's quite a range of risks. So how do facilities actually manage all that diversity on the ground? What does a good waste management program look like in practice?
It really starts with the paperwork, believe it or not. A solid waste management policy and plan.
Not just a binder on a shelf, I hope.
No, no. It needs to be a living document. Everyone needs access to it. It needs regular updates. And it has to detail everything.
Like what?
How to categorize waste, how to segregate it, the color code system, how to handle it safely, storage rules, transport inside the facility, how it's finally disposed of, the treatment methods, and really important, what to do in an emergency like a spill. It's the operational playbook.
You mentioned the color code. That seems like a really simple but effective tool. Could you run through the colors for Bahrain?
Sure, it's designed for instant recognition. Yellow bins are for your infectious and pathological waste.
Yellow, infectious. Got it.
Red is strictly for sharps, needles, blades, anything that can cut or pierce.
Red for danger. Makes sense.
Blue or white bins are for pharmaceutical waste.
Okay.
Black is for general waste, the non-hazardous stuff.
Black, general. Like a regular trash bin, but separate?
Exactly. And brown bins are used for chemical waste.
Brown for chemicals. Okay. And these aren't just any old bins.
Definitely not. They have to be properly labeled, Arabic and English, puncture resistant, especially the red sharps ones, and they need to be emptied regularly, never overflowing. That's a major no-no.
Right, so the waste is in the right bin. What about moving it? That seems like a high-risk point for staff.
It is. Safe handling and internal transport are critical. Full PPE is mandatory for anyone handling waste. Gloves, gown, mask, eye protection, no shortcuts.
Full gear.
Always. The trolleys used to move the waste need to be easy to clean and marked clinical waste only. And waste shouldn't sit around. It needs frequent collection, at least twice a day, sometimes more.
And spills. They must happen sometimes.
They do. That's why you need spill kits readily available everywhere waste is generated or handled. And clear standard operating procedures, SOPs, so staff know exactly what to do instantly.
Okay, so it's collected, moved safely. Where does it wait before the licensed contractor picks it up? Is there a special room?
Yes, a temporary storage room. And there are strict rules for this, too. It has to be separate from patient areas, well-ventilated, secure locked with washable surfaces, clear signs, Arabic and English, biohazardous waste.
And you mentioned a time limit earlier.
A very strict one in Bahrain. Maximum storage is just 48 hours.
Wow, that's quick. Really emphasizes efficiency.
It does. No time for waste to linger.
Okay, 48 hours later, the licensed contractor arrives. What happens then? How does it actually treated and disposed of?
The facility's responsibility is basically to hand it over safely to that licensed third-party contractor approved by the SCE. The contractor takes it from there.
And the facility needs proof.
Absolutely. The contractor has to maintain transport logs showing where the waste went and provide destruction certificates. These are crucial. They prove the waste was properly treated.
How is it typically treated?
Common methods are incineration, burning at very high temperatures, autoclaving using high-pressure steam to sterilize, or chemical disinfection. The method depends on the waste type.
And you'd recommend facilities keep copies of those certificates?
Definitely. That's the smart pro tip. Keep those certificates meticulously filed. They are your proof of compliance if an inspector shows up. It shows you followed the process end to end.
Right. It closes the loop.
Exactly. Every step, from bin to final treatment, is covered by specific rules to minimize risk.
So we've got the policies, the procedures, the colors, the contractors. But it all comes down to people doing the right thing. Every time. How do you ensure that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It hinges on staff training and education. And not just for the waste handlers, everyone.
Nurses, doctors, cleaners.
Everyone who might generate or come near healthcare waste. They need training on classification, segregation, the bin colors, sharp safety, especially the never recap needles rule. That's so important.
Cannot emphasize that enough.
Absolutely. Plus spill response, reporting incidents. And this training isn't a one-off. It needs to be annual, minimum, plus mandatory for all new staff when they join.
And facilities need to track this.
Oh, yes. Document everything. Training attendance, evaluations. It's vital for accreditation. Auditors will ask for those records.
Okay, training is key. But how do managers know if the training is sticking? How do they check if people are actually following the rules day to day?
Through monitoring, audits, and KPIs, key performance indicators. NHRA requires regular internal audits. You need to measure how you're doing.
What sort of things do they measure?
Specific targets, like what percentage of staff are trained. Aim for 95% or higher. What percentage of waste is correctly segregated? You check this through audits, aiming for over 90%.
And incidents.
Zero tolerance for waste-related injuries. If an incident does happen, how quickly is it resolved? Should be under 24 hours. And things like proper disposal of expired drugs that should be 100% every month.
It sounds like a continuous improvement cycle.
It has to be. It shows it's not just ticking a box, but a real ongoing commitment to safety and getting better.
So even with all these rules and monitoring,
Mm-hmm.
where do things still tend to go wrong? What are the common slip-ups facilities need to be vigilant about?
Even with the best intentions, mistakes happen. A really common one is mixing general waste with infectious waste. Just tossing something in the wrong bin. Very costly, very risky.
I can see that.
Using the wrong color container. Simple error, big implications. Seeing overflowing bins in patient areas, that's a definite red flag for poor practice. Delays in moving the waste internally, letting it pile up. Sometimes the issue is with untrained outsourced staff, like cleaners who might not have received the same specific healthcare waste training.
That's a tricky one to manage.
It is. And finally, a big compliance headache is simply missing the paperwork, those destruction certificates we talked about. If you can't prove it was destroyed properly, you've got a problem.
It really reflects on the whole facility's approach to safety, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The SMART advisory nails it. Your waste management is a mirror reflecting your overall infection control culture. You have to take it seriously.
Okay, so summing all this up, what are the top strategic recommendations from experts like Smart Management Consultancy for getting this right? How can a facility build a truly robust system?
SMART boils it down to 5 key strategic actions. 1, develop that comprehensive waste management manual. Make sure it's aligned with NHRA and actually used.
The living document.
Exactly. 2, assign a specific waste officer. Someone needs to own this, often someone on the infection control team.
Accountability.
3, conduct audits frequently, like monthly, not just annually. Catch problems early.
Proactive monitoring.
4, train staff using simulations. Don't just talk about spills, practice responding to them. Make it real.
Practical skills.
And 5, keep all your documentation organized and ready. Assume the surveyors could walk in any day. Be prepared.
That seems like solid advice. This whole deep dive really drives home that waste management isn't just some side task. It truly involves everyone, from the bedside nurse to the cleaner to the CEO.
It's a shared responsibility.
And getting it right protects staff, prevents infections, ensures compliance, and honestly, it just shows a high level of professionalism and care. It's fundamental to patient safety.
It absolutely is. And, when you think about the level of detail and effort that goes into managing something like waste, something most people don't even see, it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where else in our lives or in society are these seemingly small, behind-the-scenes processes actually having huge impacts on our safety and trust?